Yeah.
Hi, everyone. It's Mary Olson. I'm Reader's Advisory Librarian, and I am here today with Kathy Petras, who is our associate in the Virginia Wheeler Martin Family History and Learning Center. We are going to share a wonderful book with you called Inheritance by Dani Shapiro. It is one of our adult titles for One Community, Many Stories, and it's a really interesting memoir about a family history surprise. So Kathy, tell us a little bit about what you do here at the library and tell us about Inheritance.
Okay, as Mary said, I am the associate at the Family History and Learning Center, and one of my duties is to help people with their family history, and part of that is dealing with the results of DNA tests, and that's what the book is about. Dani takes a test as a favor for her husband and is shocked to discover that her biological father, or her birth father, the father that she loved and adored, was not her biological father. Um, because her husband was an investigative reporter, within 24 hours, he tracked down that she was probably the daughter of a sperm donor at an institute in Philadelphia. That never happens. With sperm donors, it's very hard to track down who the father is because those men were guaranteed anonymity when they did the donation. And a lot of the institutes still follow that. Some are moving away from assuring people anonymity because they really can't guarantee it with DNA testing and everything. Um, Dani is a gifted writer, and I've not read a lot of memoirs. I tend to read biographies, and reading a memoir was different because it was all about her internal struggle, her journey through processing this new information that really shocked her and rocked her world. Um, it was, I would not say it was a fun read. It was a difficult read. It reminded me of Jodi Picoult's books where there's a gray area where the law has not caught up with medicine and science. And so it's not an easy read because she's going through real anguish during most of this, trying to find out exactly what happened. Both of her parents are deceased when she discovers this, so she doesn't have anybody she can readily go to. Because of her background and because of her position within her community, she was able to reach out to people like the top DNA donors, sperm donor expert in the country, the top rabbis in the country, and she was very forthright with her family members, and it really changed how she viewed herself. She reached out to her biological father, who was still alive, and at first he was reluctant, but eventually he agreed to meet with her, and she's slowly building a relationship with him. As a genealogist, I want to know more about her family, more about the history of her father's life, the history of her mother's life, but this is all about Dani's journey, her internal psychological and emotional journey. Uh, and as such, it left me a little unsatisfied as a genealogist, but it was very important for me as a genealogist in a position here at the library to know that this is a very emotional and it can be a life-altering step for people. So we're much more careful when we talk to people who want to do DNA testing. We try to caution them that these kinds of surprises, or as they call them, unexpected paternal events, can happen. And most people don't realize that. They think it's a lark. I'm going to find out all about my family, and I'm going to find out my ethnicity, and it's not necessarily that kind of a journey. So.
And there's her book is so, her voice is really beautiful, and it's really easy to follow. Although the topic is very heavy, it's a really nice narrative style, and the dissatisfaction you feel as a genealogist because you want names on a chart, on the line, in a place, but that's so it's so true and poignant about her story is that she goes forward in life from here on out with holes that she's never going to be able to understand exactly what her real family story is. Dani Shapiro does a podcast also. So if anyone reads this book and really loves Dani's voice and the way she writes and the types of thoughts she has and is able to express, her podcast is called Family Secrets. And she has gone out and found other people who have had these huge bombs go off in their life because of an unexpected DNA testing result. And the stories are fascinating. And she's a very compassionate person because she's been through it herself and she knows what a shock it can be. So anything else you want to add?
Well, I think to let people know this hits home closely to people. There was a lady in Wadsworth that just revealed her story, that she found out that her father that was on her birth certificate was not her biological father. And just last week, I came across this article on there's no such thing as secrets in the age of DNA, and it's about donor insemination. The donors were assured that their names would never be revealed, but now with DNA testing, there are other ways of getting it than going through the institutes. So
it's just like everything in our world that electronic information, electronic data and record keeping has in many ways just flattened the world. It makes access possible where for many, many generations it hasn't been possible before. Thank you, Kathy, for sharing not only a good book, but your expertise with us. And thank you for all you do for everybody in Medina County who comes to the library looking to fill their gaps in family history and solve their own mysteries. You're a huge asset to our community, and we appreciate everything you do.
Well, thank you, Mary.
Thank you. Talk to you later.
Okay, you take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.